Hi everybody, it's meteorologist Terry Swails here on tswails.com, and this is your weather briefing for Tuesday afternoon. And like it or not, we are back on the roller coaster weather-wise, but I think for most of you this is a ride that you're going to enjoy. The temperature is looking very comfortable around here over the next couple of days, and the overall weather pattern much drier, and that's something that most of the upper Midwest will take advantage of. It's been awfully soggy the last several weeks. Here's our satellite image right now, and with the front having passed well south of us, cool air is moving in from the northwest. That's popped a few fair weather cumulus clouds out there today. Some of those where there's a little more instability up in parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota could put out a couple of showers this afternoon. Overall, those will be widely scattered and on the light side. But there's the big front off to the east of us today. That arc of clouds shows the cold front extending from Michigan all the way down through the Ohio Valley and back into the southern plains states. So high pressure is now nosing southward out of Canada, and look what that is doing to temperatures up in the great north woods of Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. As of noon today, temperatures were only in the 60s, a brisk wind blowing, and even with some sunshine, just a little hint of fall in the air out there. And this cool air will drive its way southward and be right over the top of the Midwest during the day tomorrow. Here's some of the temperatures I'm expecting around my region. High is expected to be somewhere in the mid-70s as we get into Wednesday. But look at these dew points. Real dry air. Going to be tough to get much in the way of precipitation with dry air like that. So dew points in the 50s, some sunshine around, and dry air, all those things with light winds going to make for some beautiful weather conditions during the day on Wednesday. In fact, rather unusual conditions considering we're right now into the heart of summer. Rain, that's not something I expect to see too much of. This is the 48-hour precipitation forecast, and where I indicated the instability is a little greater, closer to the core of the cold air that's over the Great Lakes states, there could be some significant showers in spots in Wisconsin that dump some brief heavy rainfall, but overall it's going to be a fairly dry pattern, and you're really going to have to get into the upper Midwest to see much in the way of any showers. And here is the 500 millibar track of the jet stream, which is sending the cool air towards us. Anomalously cool air is expected to be found over the Great Lakes states in the upper Midwest as this trough works its way on through. But eventually, it will get to the east of us here, and by the time we get to Friday, here's what the storm track looks like during the evening hours. And you can see that cold air has lifted back up to the north, and the temperatures are trying to moderate a little bit. And as that warm air arrives, it also brings in some moisture and some overrunning, and that will develop the next precipitation maker. So Friday evening, we got low pressure out over Kansas, and a warm front is stretched out from there into northern Missouri. And along and north of that, there is a pretty good chance of showers and thunderstorms developing. This model here is showing a pretty good cluster moving across southeastern Iowa and west central Illinois. And with that front generally holding in that region for the next 48 hours once it gets there Friday night, it should be around then into the upcoming weekend. And along it, there's likely going to be those showers and storms we talked about. Here's the important thing, though. It still appears the heaviest rain should stay further to the south of the Quad Cities and maybe just catch my southern counties. So I don't see anything here that's going to aggravate the high rivers and streams that are found over eastern Iowa and western Illinois. But some good rains will be a possibility, especially from southeastern Iowa and west central Illinois back into northern Missouri. That's a region that got popped pretty good last night with significant rainfall. From there on to the north, though, you can see below normal precipitation over the next 6 days, and so that's a nice change for us. Don't see any of those massive rain areas of 3, 4, 5 inches anywhere over the upper Midwest, and that's really good news for farmers too. Here, though, is the storm track by next Tuesday, and once again another one of these potent troughs expected to form over the Great Lakes states, and so our flow comes in strongly from the northwest once again, and we begin another cool down around here that will send the temperatures well below normal. And if you take the next 8 days and average them out, this is what the temperature anomaly is expected to look like over the upper Midwest. And you can see all of the Midwest looking at temperatures that'll be anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below what's typical. That's the extreme. Otherwise, maybe 3 or 4 days in there where it's close to normal. But when you average it all out, well below normal temperatures over the upper Midwest expected for the next 7 to 8 days. So no big heat waves in our future, and overall it looks like most of the heavier rains will be confined to the lower and maybe the central portions of the Midwest. Some relatively quiet weather expected from northern Iowa up into northern Illinois into Wisconsin and Minnesota. Overall, a pretty delightful forecast. So that's where we stand with things out there today. With some beautiful weather conditions expected in our forecast in the next 24 hours. So hopefully you can get out and enjoy this excellent July weather. And that is your weather briefing. Thanks for coming to tswails.com. And as always, roll weather.